Welcome to Ghosts and Grit.
Jamie Kennedy, thank you so much for coming on Ghosts and Grit.
How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm good. I was just talking to a mutual friend of ours about how our show should have went.
Oh, dude. I did a podcast today, and I was more or less talking about that.
And just how it would work in the clip culture.
Yeah.
And how, it's just crazy.
Yeah, TV's fucked.
I know. We've talked about
Well,
that.
so much.
Yeah.
All right. So much to cover. You're one of my favorite conspiracy theory, kind of geopolitical. Like, I love chatting with you.
Is it even conspiracy anymore?
No, it's not, because every time the internet is like, no, it's this is what's happened, and then the mainstream media says that's a conspiracy theory, the internet is usually right.
Yeah.
Election. What do you think of the election? Like the whole moving it inside, the whole thing.
The inauguration.
Yeah, sorry, the inauguration.
It's incredible. Like, it was smart to move it inside. I'm like, it looked awesome. I mean, there was like all of the people and of all the people that were there. And I know a lot of people that were there, by proxy.
Yeah.
Through the comedy community. I don't know them, but, see them. And it's just like, it looked great. I mean, and Trump was like as on as he's ever been.
What do you think Barron Trump said to Joe Biden?
I don't know. It was interesting.
It was weird, right?
Like, he said something and then he whispered and then his face changed, but he could have also just farted. Like Joe could just, because he's like, nice to see you. And he could be like, nice to see you. I don't know, but it was definitely odd.
Yeah.
But he looks like he's, in line. It's like Donald, I don't know, maybe then Don Jr.
Yeah.
Laura, Barron. I mean, keep it going.
The whole thing. It's like it turns into like the Windsors.
Yeah.
So did you hear the theory as to why they moved it inside?
I was assuming because it was going to be some issues with some safety concerns.
So from what I heard from, it wasn't directly from a reliable source, but a source very close to someone there. There's a huge issue of weaponized drones. So like the Mavic, and there is no possible way to defend against a drone swarm. And so they were concerned, and with all the drone stuff going on, they were like, yeah, we're not doing that.
How high up did you hear that?
From a friend who has someone who's very close with someone in special operations.
Well, I mean, you just did the show on Fox, and I also know that you're connected.
Yeah.
So that's legit.
Yeah, it was a pretty like, I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So from another, who would be the perpetrator?
I mean, it doesn't. It could be anyone. It could be
Was it another country?
They
terrorist.
The way that
psychos.
The way that it was presented is that
it's a possibility.
It's a possibility, and it's a possibility that they can't defend against yet. There's not the technology there. I mean, you've seen those Chinese drones like shows, right? Mm-hmm. Can you imagine if all those were armed and it was like, go bomb that entire stage?
Yeah, like that's the
anything.
biggest thing. Is like one of the scariest things ever was my brother told me. I don't even want to put it out there. But it's like 15 years ago. Imagine you're at your ATM and you turn around and there's a drone with a gun.
Yeah.
Pointing at your head. And he's like, give me it all. I'll drain your account. You know what I mean? You have no idea who the operator is. You have no idea what anything. So, yeah, that makes complete sense.
Yes.
I mean, it was cold as hell, but that makes sense.
Because there's been cold ones. Like, when he first got inaugurated, it was a very cold day, and everyone was like, oh, and he still kind of marched through D.C., and everyone was just bundled up. But I did think that was interesting when I started hearing, oh, they're moving it to this location, that location. They just kept ping-ponging around, and I was like, yeah, they're keeping people guessing where it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
We're going to see some weird stuff over the next few years, I think.
Yeah, and to answer your question at the top, you said, well, I think the inauguration is just that how busy Trump was. I was thinking about this. He's 25 years older than me, 26 years older than me. And the guy, from being sworn in and all the speeches, and then he did 100 executive orders, then went back to the party, did another like 50 or 100. He's got more energy than anyone. I mean, it's incredible.
Wild. And all he eats is McDonald's.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but it's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow, it's incredible. So, I mean, super productive. Just a wildly amazing time.
Yeah.
Look, he's doing everything he says.
Yeah.
He's so proactive.
I saw something, and it was saying that how many presidents executed executive orders in their first 72 hours, whatever, and it was like Biden 0, Trump when he first came in it was like 2 or 3, Obama did like 1, and they're saying it's the most productive first week.
It's incredible in 1 week. But think about it. You do your show, right? Let's say you have a second season premiere of The Osbournes. You guys are now a hit. You're living your best life. MTV has a huge party. And then you guys are celebrating. Then people leave. You go to the after party. And you're so happy. You're partying, right? Like I did that with movies. This guy is the highest office in the world. Crazy odds he overcame. He gives a speech. He goes back to work.
Yeah.
He's not partying at all. Like he's literally just working.
Just hammering it out.
Just working.
He did golf on Sunday.
He golfed and also shut down Colombia. From like the 8th hole, he's like, the tariffs are going to be 80%. Fucking anyone putted. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
Yeah. Are you over the last few years, I know you've been more and more outspoken about stuff. Do you worry about being, dare I say, a Trump supporter in Hollywood?
What's left?
It's true.
I mean, really, what is left? I was talking to another guy. I won't name his name, but he's a known Trump supporter, and he's like, we've already done it. He's like, we've done it, dude. And he's like, we can keep doing it. I actually think the culture is going to shift.
Yeah. I
think it's going to be everybody. The biggest thing I have with the libs, and no one likes extremists on any sides, okay? So let's just understand that. And I really do identify as an independent, but they're not going to give me that moniker, is that the sense of humor is lost with hardcore liberals. They just can't laugh at themselves.
Yeah.
And the third eye of them is not activated. Like, you're just like me. When you're in the middle of something going on in your life, you're in it, and you're thinking about and you're also watching it, of what's like, oh God, this is crazy. Like when something's in your life, and you're like, this is crazy, and like you're seeing it as a director.
Yeah.
The self-awareness to just joke and be like, okay, you can't say that you're this all-inclusive, wonderful, forgiving, tolerant thing. This is a hack thing to say. And then you see online these people just going berserk, so mad, so angry. That's not tolerance. You're not open. The problem I have with this whole thing is open-mindedness is done. It's a belief, and that's it. And there is no tolerance of maybe you don't support the same person I support, but let me learn why.
Yeah.
Again, like the border thing, it's really simple. Trump just doesn't want bad people in the country. We're all immigrants. I'm an immigrant. You know what I mean?
I'm a legitimate, first-hand immigrant.
I'm
through the
literally.
process.
I'm from your land. I just got here a couple generations before, but I'm still an immigrant.
Yeah.
My roots are in Europe, so he doesn't want bad people in. He doesn't want good people out. That's it. And just alone, 600% or something since the border problems, something like 600% sex trafficking crimes have gone up, and it's either reversed in 250,000 deaths from fentanyl.
Wow. Yes.
Either it's either 600% increase in fentanyl and 250,000, or those statistics intermingle. So it's like, who would not want a secure border?
Yeah.
So, Yes. Am I afraid? No, because I think more and more people are. I actually think people are legitimately flipping.
Me too.
Like they're actually. I thought they were nuts. Like I was talking to my boy who's like, because we know everybody, and I say this in a loving way. We know a lot of scumbags in a loving way. You know what I'm saying? Like people that just like to have fun, whatever, but they act all sanctimonious, and I'm like, you're not that sanctimonious, dude. And I'm like, my boy flipped, and he's like, okay, I see what you're saying now. I see what you're saying, but he's a normal guy.
Yeah.
And now we have another guy who's very known, and I'm like, what's going on with him? And he's like, he'll come around. And he's like, he's legitimately lost, and I'm like. But he's a common sense guy. He's tough. He's cool. He's very successful. And I'm like, dude, what's going on? He's like, he'll come around. We talk.
It's funny.
And it's fascinating.
It is funny the amount of people that have, from my perspective.
But people are generally confused.
Yes. But people are also kind of going like, wait a minute. This time last go around with Trump, there was marches. There was all sorts of stuff about like, bring him down, and it just seems like everyone's just kind of sat back now, just being like, okay, it is what it is. You still got the holdouts, but like, dude, you're seeing it on like the Young Turks. You're seeing all these social commentators and political commentators kind of changing their tune with it a bit.
Yeah, like I had, like that question I could just answer forever because it's like, but I'm just like, what Hollywood, even the stuff that's being made. Like there are successful big legacy IP things, and there's always going to be. But I feel like the Oscars, when they announced them this year, trended for 2 hours.
And when it was trending, everyone was like, what the fuck?
Well, they were like, I don't know, 8 of the 10 movies.
Yeah.
So I love Hollywood. I love it. Literally, where we're at right now, sitting in this room, is the epitome of what Hollywood is built on, this type of neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it's just a different game, and it's just like I think humor is gonna come back in a way of like it's okay, we can laugh at things. I had this guy, he's so sweet, man, and he's gay. Okay, he's such a sweet guy, and I don't care about anyone's gender, sexuality. Whatever you, I wouldn't make my gender, my sexuality, or anything all about me. I don't make anything all about me. I think probably comedy. It might be who I am, but like, you know what I mean? Whatever you feel represents you.
Yeah.
And he was like, talk to me about the next 4 years. We had a private conversation. He's such a sweet guy. And I'm like, you're going to be okay. But he's generally worried.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Trump's cabinet, I don't know, like 20% or something. He's nominated and put like a ton of gay guys in power. Yeah. I mean, given a lot of gay jobs to, he's given jobs to gay people, Indians, Asians.
First woman chief of staff.
Like, yeah. I mean, he's not, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I feel like people just have to look at things one at a time.
Yeah. Listen, I'm the border stuff, I'm looking at it purely from the drug and trafficking side of things. And it's like, it's so obvious. You know what? There might not be 100 terrorists coming over a day. That might just be talking point bullshit. But what 100% is happening is drugs and human trafficking. And I don't get how any sane, rational person can sit there and go, no, that's totally fine.
Why is it that like Jake Tapper, who like is from Philly and like should be a common sense guy, and he was at CNN, like why is he sitting there arguing with the other guy, Steven someone yesterday, I noticed in a clip, and he's basically trying to say, like, this border stuff is racist. And it's like, dude, why aren't you talking about sex trafficking, horrific sex trafficking, and fentanyl? Just start there.
Because they're trying to make the correlation between secure borders and white nationalist extremism.
But why? Why are they trying to do that? Why are they trying to look for a problem and cause a problem instead of just attacking the real problem?
It's true, yeah, and it's like they can't admit that soapbox is wrong to stand on, because it's blue no matter who with these people. It's common sense. Pardon?
It's a great term. I never heard that.
Oh yeah,
blue no matter who.
Yeah, I'm like, you guys are supposed to be reporting the news, and you're supposed to be kind of a fair and balanced. That's what they're supposed to be.
Dude.
But that's just gone. And it's been gone for so fucking long. And they've realized too late that it doesn't work for them, but they're too committed.
Dude, it so pisses me off because exactly what I just said. It's sanctimonious. It's like, oh, I'm high and mighty, and I'm wearing a suit, and oh, you're racist. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Yeah.
Like, Jake Tapper, like, you fucking are from Philly. Like, we're a step below Boston in terms of our race issues. I mean, let's be real, okay? It's gotten a lot better, but it's like, we're talking about safety here. And we're not talking, everyone in this, do you know how many, it's not about Mexicans or El Salvadorians. That border at Eagle Pass, literally from what I saw, is like a fucking portal to, like, it's a lot more other countries. And it's kind of like the drop-off point. And all types of people were coming through there. Yeah. And, I mean, you know what it is. Flood the country, get the votes, cause the chaos. You know the drill.
Do you think that was a real play they were going for?
1,000%. Oh, let it open. A, to get the votes, or B, straight up chaos agents.
Yeah.
Because they did not want DJT in there. So if it was an emergency that they could have called, there's no transfer of power.
Yeah.
That's just a known amendment.
Yeah. I remember I was reading something back in November when the election happened, and they were, you know, when Kamala, you know, whatever, admitted defeat and back, you know, took a name, you know, whatever they say, they like call each other and they're like, yeah, you won. And someone was saying that most likely there was some level of cheating going on, but there was so many more votes for Trump that it just, they couldn't cheat enough.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's just like...
so funny. I believe that. Dude, the media is like...
The ignorance that the media has had over the last 12 years is just... It's just fucking astounding.
No, and that's why they want to shut down TikTok.
You think?
1,000%. They don't want us talking.
No.
They do not want us sharing ideas. I get fucking amazing recipes off of TikTok. I get great restaurant things. I get great workout tips. I get great conspiracy theories, insights.
Yeah.
I mean, TikTok shop, I bought a ton of products that I love. Like, they totally do not want us talking. The natives are talking, and we're realizing the shit ain't right.
No, it's a great way to put it.
Right?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of us and a few of them.
Yeah.
And I'm been fortunate, and you have as well, to taste them, but I still feel we're us.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a beautiful, beautiful way to put it.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we're about the people. Like, we are the people. Like, I can't tell you, like, why I knew Trump was going to win so long ago, because no one talking ever leaves their fucking house. And I'm like, have you been to North Carolina? Have you been to Alabama? Have you been to Tempe, Arizona? Like, no one is saying, get me fucking Biden. Like, when that election was going, no one. And they're like, well, we got a good lead. I'm like, no, you don't. It literally is criminal. It's criminal. Like, Sunny Houston. Like, I shouldn't even be talking about this shit, but I do because it's like, it's crazy.
Oh, my God.
She goes on The View and says all this stuff. Again, a humorless person. I'm sure she's very nice. And, like, I would love to talk to her in a rational way and just be like, hey, man, seems like you got a lot of education. You got a lot of degrees and stuff, but you're pretty hypocritical. Like, your husband is up for one of the biggest RICO cases in the history of New York.
Really?
Oh,
I knew he got in trouble, but I didn't know
story.
it was...
And so it's like, how do I know this? Because I don't follow this, because it's just everywhere.
Yeah.
So the first thing you should go on The View and go, hey, man, you know, I'm pretty much of a hypocrite. My husband might have did some dirty stuff. I don't know yet. We're going to find out. But I'm sorry. I'm a bit of a hypocrite.
But blue no matter who.
But it's about taking your L's. All these people that, like, are hardcore like that, Dems, they're like hecklers. They're like Karens. It's like they are in a club. They won't take their L's.
They're like, well, you know what they're like? The two old Muppets in the Muppet Show up in the balcony.
But those guys were open-minded. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just like, you know, they're just like Nurse Ratched. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Medicine time. You know what I mean? They never. It's just like open your mind.
I think The View does terrible things for women.
Dude, for everything.
It's like, and my mom and I were talking about this the other day, that all they do is just tear each other apart, talk shit about people, and you're just like, what the fuck is this?
And that's an informed opinion right there.
Allegedly. Allegedly informed.
Well, she knows that format.
My mom. My mom.
Your mom is very informed.
Oh yeah, no, she's
meaning like she can make that assumption because she works in that field.
She got in an awful lot of trouble because she went on Howard Stern one time and like called them all cunts.
But that's just what you say over there.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
In a cute way?
No, she was like, it was back when she was on the talk, and the talk and the View was like beefing. And so she was like, well, whatever. She didn't give. I mean, what the fuck?
But here's the thing: The View. There's no way anyone outside that little studio audience. I don't know who's consuming that show.
Yeah.
So, God bless them. I just wish you would have on people that are extreme on both sides.
Yeah.
Have right-leaning people. Have other people. Have pushback.
They always have that one token conservative, and then they just beat the shit out of the poor woman, and then they just throw her out to rot when she's emotionally just bankrupted from it.
I know, but it's like, you know what I love? I just saw yesterday is that Trump, the woman who's now the head of
press secretary.
Yeah, gangster, and she goes, just want to let you know if you're a TikTok. Dude, I got fucking so hype. She's like, I just want to let you know if you're a TikToker or a Facebook or whatever, if you cover news, you may get invited to the White House. You can apply. Do you know how much, bro? I thought.
Oh, I saw that.
Bro,
I had it on the screen, like how to apply for your press credentials.
Bro, do you know how much I might flip my whole life?
Should we apply?
Bro, I'm dead serious. Bro, I'm dead fucking serious. Like, I was so hype, and I'm like, this could be my new calling. Like, I straight up want to be a correspondent.
Did you hear the?
It got me so hype.
I don't know who started this rumor, but they said that Alex Jones was going to be the press secretary.
It would be amazing.
How amazing would
it would be amazing. But, like, that's why we love Trump, because he talks normal.
Yeah.
Okay? He's a man of the people. I don't care how many gold toilets he has. He is a man of the people.
Yeah.
And he's awesome. And he is effective. And I can see such a change in him from the first time to the next time. And he's surrounding himself with all his soldiers.
And I have noticed he's been a lot more reserved with tweeting just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of toned down on the crazy tweeting.
I have to say this, and no disrespect, Don, but he said Jim Acosta, that news guy, resigned yesterday, and he said, he just wrote like "Crybaby Jim Acosta," like his tweet was so petty.
Crybaby,
something like that. It was so petty, and that's why I'm like, that's why I love him, because he's a king. And he can also be petty. I feel the same exact way. He doesn't forget.
You know what my nickname for him is?
Oh.
You remember in Game of Thrones, the Night's Watch? Like the guys that were at the wall, holding the wall?
Yeah, kind of. I don't remember. I didn't see the show enough. But.
So, like, the main, like, the guy who ran all the Night's Watch is called the Lord Commander.
Mm-hmm.
And I call him, and I'm like, Lord Commander. It's just my nickname. Whenever I'm texting my friends, I'm like, see what the Lord Commander did?
Look, I mean, I fucking love that independent news thing.
No, it's such a genius because, man.
Well, I think Barron is in his ear a
Yeah.
ton. I think all the crypto was released because of Barron. I think him doing all the amazing podcast.
Yes.
In the comedy community, which now is just the news community.
Well,
was
I
huge.
think it's so.
I think Barron has a lot to do with it.
To that point, this election, I think, is the first election where podcasting changed the tide.
Yeah. It's that, the media before that, Obama said how he used Facebook back in 08, 09, and that helped him. So it's like, yeah, different forms of media. But it's literally, this is the way.
Yep, this is the way. How are you faring since the fires in LA? Did you get directly affected or anyone in your inner circle?
You know, I know. I mean, I saw a few people that I'm friendly with
Yeah.
lose their places, and it's very sad. You know, I wasn't even posting or talking. I was just literally updating my Instagram and stuff with stuff from the news because
Yeah.
I was like there, and then you know I have my buddy kind of over the hill by Sepulveda and Ventura, and he would literally be actively watching as the flames top of the hill, and I'm like, you know, gauging when you got to get out and stuff. So, as you know, it's kind of weird. I'm getting back in the swing of things, but the whole city is just completely devastated. I mean, emotionally, you know, if you've lived here for a long time, but the people, we've lost a huge part of our city.
Yeah.
And then we lost and the world lost an iconic strip.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I have a lot of history there. You know, just my movie alone, and I shot so much there, and it's just so sad, and it's really depressing.
Yeah.
There was a minute they were saying you have to evacuate because I'm in Hollywood. I was by the Runyon one.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'll be fine. The biggest thing was the smoke.
Yeah. That was Dolly. Well, are you hearing about all the contamination stuff?
Yeah, but there's a lady I follow, and she says she does a reading every day with like all the weird shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, whatever's in asbestos. And on Sunday, it was fucking nuts. Now, she's deep in the heart of Playa.
Yeah.
So that's farther. But it's been clean the last 2 days, I hope.
My, yeah, like I was hearing about, what was that, like a few thousand Teslas burned and all the toxins from the batteries burning and like all that shit. It's going into the ground soil. It's gone into the air.
Someone, you know, sent me a DEW video and I had to watch it. But, come on, you know the drill.
Yeah.
This was set up.
You think it was?
Dude, this has got Lahaina written all over it.
Do you think it was one of the, what is it, the laser weapons that everyone's saying?
I was just sent a video by somebody, and I started to watch it, but it's an actually pretty long video, and I haven't watched it yet. And they say that now, 100% that could be
Was it direct energy weapon?
Yeah. Well, there's multiple theories if you want to go down. The first one is that the pallet. I talked about it on my pod, but it was like it's fire season, and then the next day at 10:30, fire started. Like they announced fire season the night before. Okay. So let's just go with the winds. We all know.
They were crazy.
Let's just go that it's dry. Okay. I'll give you those 2 points. The reservoir's empty. The canceling the insurance. The hydrants aren't working.
Do you know about the whole housing crisis thing with the federal government, state government, and all that? About how certain cities, Santa Monica being one of them, has to build 9,000 homes.
Yeah, I learned that from my friend Jack Osborne. Yeah, you sent that to me. Now, was it 9?
Right. I sent it. Yeah,
was it 9,000 units or 9,000 buildings?
9,000 units. They have to have 9,000 units within the next couple years.
And there's no place to do it.
Nothing.
So if you're telling me they're going to put apartments on the side of those hills.
The hills that are eroding, that everyone's like, hey, the apartments that are here are already at risk.
Yeah. So 100% I believe that. It's all about, you'll own nothing and be happy. I think owning a little piece of land anywhere in the world is the most important thing. We got to do that now because they don't want
Nope.
They don't want freedom. And I did see that from you, but I've heard about that. But yeah, I mean, listen, there's things that were set up naturally that happened with this fire. But the first thing was there was a New Year's Eve celebration. There was a fire. I don't know if you heard that.
Yes.
6 days before.
I did hear that.
They put it out, and the embers might have done there. That's one.
Yeah.
Another one, if you want to go really deep, but since this is your pod, that there was an SA ritual.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. And that started there. That's just a rumor. Okay. I don't know if
Huh.
that's true, and it was in somewhere, and then that started it.
Yeah.
Not SRA, I think. Or SR. I don't know. It's another one. And the third one is the guy that was in UC Diego on the side of the hill. You literally saw that guy from that camera.
Which is very strange.
Yes.
And no one's really brought that up. The news never covered it. Nothing.
Then there's Dewey. Someone sent me a Dewey, which is the direct energy.
Yeah.
So, but like, again, people are like, oh, these fires are bad. One fire, another fire comes. Oh, these fires are bad. These winds are bad. Third fire. These Hollywood Hills on fire, 80 miles from the place. Wait a minute. Like, how long did it take these fucking people to realize this whole shit stinks?
Yeah. Wait, did you see the house in Studio City that burned?
Dude, I drove. I tried to go there.
Okay.
And it was torched.
Okay.
And I was worried because you and I know people over there.
All right. So I was watching that go down on the news because I had gone.
They blocked off the whole boulevard.
So I'd gone for a drive that day right before the Runyon Canyon fire started.
Yeah, it started like 2 hours after that.
Yeah, and I came back through, and Ari and I were driving. I was like, "Why the fuck is Hollywood on fire?" Because knowing where the Palisades is, and I'm like this, and I was confused for a second because I hadn't heard that the Hollywood was on fire. So I go home. I'm watching it. They're seeing all the planes dumping water, and I'm like, okay, well, it was clearly someone started the fire. There's no way an ember blew all the way from the west side with the winds blowing in the complete opposite direction. Whatever. And then I see, oh, one house in Studio City's on fire. And then I see, did you see the husband and wife being interviewed?
Bro.
Okay,
She was camera ready.
she was camera
Bruh.
ready.
Was it them? Were
Yes.
they the actual owners?
Yes.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
Okay, I'm going to say this just so I don't get sued by them. From my perspective, as I'm watching the news and this couple being interviewed, wife camera ready, wearing her pearls and her earrings and her leopard print, with like a weird smile on her face, being like, yeah, the fire, we just heard a crackling on the roof. And
You're saying, well, I literally thought I was watching an episode of Bravo. Okay.
to me,
Trauma Bravo.
I perceived that as that may have just been hey, let's just torch the house.
So you think they were CAs?
CAs?
Should we let people in on that, or just
What's a CA?
crisis actors?
Oh, no, I don't think they were crisis actors. I think
Okay.
they torched the house for the insurance money.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But I have no proof of that.
You better be careful.
I know. Well, that's what I'm just saying. Like, I have no proof of that. I have
But
nothing.
it's funny because she looked really good and like camera ready,
And he was just kinda
was
stood
he
in
a
the
little
background?
older, and he was just kind of like, oh, that's my babe.
Yeah.
But she was kind of like the sugar middle-aged baby. I think.
Yeah.
I remember this.
Yeah,
that
it
was their house.
Yes, it was so weird.
It was their house.
Yes.
and everyone was out.
Yeah. It was just weird. Please don't sue me. It's just my opinion. It doesn't mean it's true.
All right, let's not. Yeah, maybe take out the crisis actor. That was the rumors.
Do you want to hear some weird direct energy shit?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I have a friend who has been fighting in Ukraine for the last couple years. He's an American doing some stuff over there. I don't want to say, I have a lot of info on what his unit is and whatever, but he is an American. He is fighting in
Who
Ukraine.
put him over there?
He went over there voluntarily.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going to get him on the podcast when all
Wow.
this settles. Eventually down the road, I'm going to get him on.
Talk about a fucking side hobby,
Dude.
What a
Well, he was a ranger. He was in the military. He did double-digit deployments for the U.S. military.
Who's he fighting for?
He's fighting for Ukraine, so against the Russians. But he was telling me just about some of the weapon tech that not only are they using in the field, but they're developing. I mean, the interesting thing about war is that it drives, historically drives technology forward, by leaps and bounds in such a short amount of time because they're creating stuff out of necessity and desperation. And he was telling me about this, and I'd never heard of this. He was explaining, he couldn't give me much information. He goes, there's weapons that I'm seeing being used and I'm hearing about that are the most terrifying things I have ever heard about, and it's fucking scary. And I jokingly sent him like an Austin Powers.
He's a motherfucker. And he's scared.
And I sent him like an Austin Powers meme of like, freaking laser beams. And he goes, oh no. He's like, laser beams he's like, we using those all day long here. And I was like, what do you mean? He told me, and this could be wrong, and he could be bullshitting, I don't know. He told me that they have these devices that they'll set up in positions that scan for sniper scopes. And it can detect us somehow the way light in this laser shoots out. It can reflect off sniper scopes, and it will automatically lock onto a sniper's optic and shoot a fucking laser beam through the optic, blinding the sniper. How fucking crazy is that? He's like, yeah, we're there. Yeah.
Oh, that's just so diabolical.
Just cooking eyeballs.
Oh, and so precise.
Yeah.
And completely just cold.
Yeah.
Just machine tech just ruining humanity. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Isn't that wild?
No, like God, like he's 500 yards away and someone's an amazing shot.
Doesn't matter.
Oh my God. And it's like you can't, oh.
Like, how do you can't, yeah, he said it's really been,
Oh
Yeah.
God. You can't even get behind a gun. They would never want to make you get behind a gun.
yeah,
Oh, that's just,
creepy, right?
bro, it just eeks me, bro.
But I'm really curious about whatever this weapon he was talking about.
Well, that's one.
Yeah, well, that's one, but the one that really terrified him, I'm like, huh.
I mean, like, he's a real one. He's a real
Oh yeah,
warrior.
and he's not. This isn't just like a guy
No, it's
who's
like,
like,
if he's worried.
yeah, he's up in it. Like, he's sending me pictures and shit, and I'm like, huh. Yeah,
Dude, it's just.
yeah. It's. I mean, it's. What have you seen some of the footage, all that drone shit from over there?
Is it the really bad shit?
Yeah,
I try not to.
man, I've seen some of the most fucked up shit.
I bet.
It's man,
I
like,
don't want to.
did you see like the 7? Oh, did you hear about the 7-minute knife fight?
No.
Ukrainian guy gets separated from his unit,
Oh.
and he comes up against a single Russian, and they end up having like hand-to-hand combat and like stabbing each other, and then the Russian ends up stabbing the Ukrainian, and it was not like 7 minutes of just hand-to-hand brutality.
I mean, what? How can we?
It's so.
How are we gonna stop this?
You know what should happen? I think once every year,
Terrible.
the UN should get everyone at the UN. They lock the doors, and everyone does a heroic dose of psilocybin mushrooms.
Yeah, like we need. It's just so much. I mean, it's just so much unnecessary carnage.
It is.
And
It
it's
is so
horrible.
brutal. It is so gnarly, and I hope that it ends soon, man, because I don't think anyone realizes here how
No,
many people have died.
no, I have no idea. And it's like, and I'm sorry I say I try to avoid it because I read and I see some stuff, but it's just so graphic. I wouldn't be able to get out of bed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just so horrific, and it's like, it has to stop.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can we humanity needs a reset.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, it's just senseless, the whole thing.
It's just terrible.
Yeah.
These wars.
Did you see the news announcement about the drones in New Jersey?
Dude, I don't live under a rock. That's all I talk about.
Okay.
Oh, you mean yesterday?
Yesterday.
Oh. As I just talked to somebody in our circle about this.
Are you buying that they were like, oh no, it was for people that don't know, a press conference, the White House said that the drones in New Jersey were cleared and everything was kosher with the FAA and that it was just a misunderstanding. I don't buy it.
First of all, the fact that you couldn't talk about it on TikTok, and shout out to Bethany Frankel, who literally had a whole thing about this.
Yeah.
And she couldn't say drones, so she called it Dior bags.
Dior bags.
Yes, it's brilliant. And so yesterday, they said they were approved by the Biden. This is what's crazy, okay? They said they were approved by the Biden administration, and that it was for some type of thing they were testing.
Yeah.
why isn't this on the front page of the New York Times, and why isn't every news channel covering it?
Yeah.
Like, so you're telling me that the last administration straight up lied, and the new administration is saying they did it, and the new administration is not telling us what they were researching? So then I talked to our buddy, and he said, I knew it was a psyop. I knew this was a psyop. And I said, okay, but what about the orbs? Because from all the things I've looked at, these plasmoids are actually real things.
Yeah.
He's like, it's all part of the same bullshit. A psyop. So here's the deal. The orbs were all over the world. Do I think they had something with the fires, dude? That shit, that sky was so crisscrossed.
Orbs human or are they extraterrestrial?
The drones are human. The orbs are not. But the orbs I have to physically touch one to know they're not blue beam.
Yeah.
You know, that now that's not a fake projection in the sky. But it feels like one is connected to the other. To me, there's no fires around the rest of the world yet, like LA. So
Yeah.
my theory of all the drones were putting basically lighter fluid in these areas.
Well, have you seen the flame drones? The ones that drop the phosphorus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm going to tell you this: the skies have been every place I've seen. The skies have been. I can't believe how blue the sky is today compared to how it's been the last month.
Yeah.
And it was just so. I think chemtrails and all that shit is real. But the drones. Why are the drones always around when these plasmoids are? Why do they reset TikTok for 12 hours? Because they want all of our FYP pages to get off of the shit because everyone's a conspiracy theorist now.
Yeah.
And so it's like they want us back to like
Talking about like
fitness products.
Blake Lively.
Yeah, 100%.
Other thing, why is that so fucking popular? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck?
100%, bro. I activate the distraction.
Yeah.
Bro, activate the distraction with Blake Lively. Activate the distraction for the Chiefs. Activate the Travis and Taylor relationship. That's all here, kitty, kitty, here, kitty, kitty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. I believe that. I really believe that.
Do you think that it's a... Because I always sit here and go, okay, sure, that's going on, but who's calling the shots? Is it mainstream media? Is it politician? Like, who's saying, yeah, we don't want people focusing on this, look at that?
Who or how?
Well, let's start with how, and then we'll go to the who. Does it come from the White House? Does it come from the Pentagon? Does it come from,
I have to be really succinct when I say this correctly. Like if
is it the Bilderbergers?
Fuck, that's a group that's so big that I don't even know enough about, but I know you love saying that word.
I knew someone whose father was the chairman for 10 years.
You love your Bilderberger. Well, wait a minute.
I'll take a Bilderberger with fries.
Bob's Bilderberger. But how? How did you know this person?
I have met him, but I knew someone whose father was the chair and check the crazy. When she told me this was years ago. We're talking 2008. She told me this, and I knew about the Bilderbergers then, and I was like, no fucking way. And I had no idea who her father was, and we got chatting. She's like, yeah, look at his Wikipedia. We go on his Wikipedia, and it says all his achievements in life, and then it said, was the known chairman of the Bilderbergers for 10 years. And she goes, oh, that's weird. I'm surprised that that's on there. Next time I went to look at it, it was gone.
So your friend's father.
Yes.
And the Bilderbergers are basically the group that
It's
the backbone of the Illuminati.
the way that it was presented to me is that everyone says Illuminati, but it's actually the Bilderbergers calling the shots.
Do they meet in Davos?
They meet all over the world. They change where they meet. And the reason why they're called the Bilderberger Group is because they met at the Bilderberger Hotel. I think it's in Switzerland or somewhere in Europe for the first conference. But, it's everyone from...
It's Henry Kissinger
Bill Gates.
to a tech giant.
Yeah, to heads of media, heads of finance, from every, the wealthiest people from China, India, Russia, they all will meet once a year for this like 4-day, 5-day conference, and they will never release what the agenda is. They'll never release any information about it. And my thing is this: if it's not secretive, why didn't you share what you're talking about then?
Yeah, if it's not secretive, why don't they open Area 51? If it's not secretive, why don't they give tours of Antarctica? Of course. So going back to what you were saying, do you still talk to that person?
Every so often, like maybe every 3 to 5 years.
How do you think she would like this clip?
Well, I've not name checked, and I've not, there's been many chairmen of the Bilderbergers.
I'm going to try to keep this simple, but I'm going to try to give it a timeline. Stanley Kubrick was a genius, possibly the best ever.
Yeah.
The more I look at his body of work, you see so many breadcrumbs. And Dr. Strangelove, The Round Table, to me, is exactly what you're talking about. And that, to me, is reality.
Yeah.
And so do I think there's a group of 200 people that really control the world and the rest of us are their fucking shift workers? Yeah. And so I
often laugh when they say that, like, Jay-Z and Beyonce are in the Illuminati. I'm like, no, they're not. They're being paid by the Illuminati. They are not in the Illuminati.
Yeah, I would say
if you know a celebrity and you think that they're in the Illuminati, like, abso-fucking-lutely not. They are in, hell no are they in there.
Wait, if you know one.
Like, if you could say, I don't think that organization would be stupid enough to go, yeah, let's put Jay-Z or Beyonce or fucking Brad Pitt or whatever famous celebrity, because they don't want fame.
In the 200.
Yeah.
No, the 200 are hidden.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's probably like, I don't know, this is a weird. It's literally somebody from like the early, I don't want to.
Rothschilds.
Yeah. That's the common names that go around, or the, the DuPont family.
Yeah.
Let's just say down there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's 10 original, 15 original. My family's name is one of them. It's up to you to decide. But like Kennedy is a name. You know what I'm saying? Of like there's bloodlines of these things.
Sure.
So I'm telling you, I'm a good guy. Now,
it's true.
But if you look at it, right? So you got 200 people that get together and do the Dr. Strangelove round in the room. They own everything. If you look at BlackRock, they own a piece of everything, and they own a piece of the other big things. They own a piece of it's BlackRock. I think it's State Street.
Yeah.
And I think it's Vanguard.
Vanguard.
They buy pieces of each other.
Yeah.
So it's like Coke buying a piece of Pepsi. So it's wild. But they own everything from Blue Chip to BuzzFeed, or they'll buy, First We Feast.
Mm-hmm.
That was just bought by the Soros Foundation.
Yeah.
The hot wings. So, and the answer is, how does it happen? Well, there's directives like this to this to this. I believe that because the Mockingbird media is real. You can see the same story and the same talking points about a certain subject 60 times in all local markets. Right?
Yeah.
Directives come down. That's number one. Number two is, how do they activate it? I think they're active players and go, hey, you got to do this. And people just are completely ignorant. And they're just like, okay. It's like when you do a promo for something, you have no idea what you're promoting when you're promoting your show. And you're like, okay. And it's like this foundation, or you have no idea.
Yeah.
Just so you're on the treadmill. There are people that are active players and go, okay, I'll do this. Not really knowing what it is, but knowing that they're being asked, they'll do it. And then there's people that are straight up MK Ultra. That's just, and they activate it. They activate it.
Yeah.
Fucking activate it, dude. Look at the Today Show clip with the great weatherman, the legend, is it Al Roker?
Al Roker, yeah.
And look at the clip with him and the dude that was canceled, I forget his name, and the lady.
Okay. Creepy guy. What was his name?
Matt Lauer.
Matt Lauer.
And the other lady.
Creepy.
Yeah. and look at there's a moment. You should put the clip in here.
Okay.
And he for 1 minute is like completely like. And they say that she said his phrase that activated him.
Oh, is that when he like?
Yes, he glitched.
Yeah. Well, have you seen the?
He glitched, and that could just be mass hypnosis. Like you could do things and not knowing that you can glitch you out. Like TV, fucking straight up, fucking hypnotizes you.
Yeah.
I want to see Nosferatu. Can I say this? Because it looks like a great movie, but I don't want to see it because people are saying that shit is hypnotizing.
Really?
Yes.
There's like some subliminal messaging in there.
100%, bro. Why is it at Christmas is supposed to be the happy time before gory horror movies came out? And I'm a horror guy. You know me. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
How come Christmas isn't talked about with Krampus? Krampus is really the origin story of Christmas. It's like some Nordic
Demon.
Dane who's like, and like, get the kids,
Yeah.
give them a little cookie, put them in the bag. No one talks about that.
But there's so many things about Christmas that I talk about, like the mushrooms. You know what the mushrooms at Christmas?
What are the mushrooms?
You know, you see mushrooms as decoration on, like you'll see at Christmas time, you'll see a Christmas tree and you'll see mushroom decorations, and they have these like toadstools, and it's because there was something to do with eating hallucinogenic mushrooms that only came up in the winter and from reindeer. I don't know. There's a connection with like psychedelics and Christmas.
Bro, a 65-year-old white alcoholic breaks into your house, slides down your chimney,
Eats your food.
and people send their 5-year-old to talk to him.
We went to Lapland this year.
And
Met Santa and then
they can never tell the parents what he told them. What the fuck is Lapland?
Went to Finland.
It's called Lapland?
Yeah.
Lap?
Lap. LAP.
Like sit on your lap?
I never thought of that.
Lapland?
I never thought of that.
Bro, it's like the Danes, the Finns. The Krampus came out of that fucking region.
Yeah.
So what is Lapland?
Lapland
Yeah, of course
is where
it's Lapland.
Yeah, it's where Santa Claus lives. We went to Finland. We went to Lapland.
He actually, like, that's the original origin story.
I guess the original origin story. I thought he was like a Nordic saint, Saint Nick.
It's Saint Nick, it's Kris Kringle, and it's Coca-Cola.
But also, I was told that it was a Turkish saint, not a Nordic saint.
He's in there too. There's like 4 different origin stories, and they made it.
So it's kind of like you know, what is it, like Power Rangers when they all come together to become big Power Ranger guy.
It could be, but it's just I don't know how we got on the topic, but I do believe, going back to your original question, was you can look at people, you can look at MK Ultra. That shit is 100% real.
Oh, 100% real. Well, here's what I'm really excited for: JFK files, MLK files, RFK files.
Bro, what do you think is gonna happen when they release that?
Okay.
Because I actually think
Hold on, let me just get my tinfoil hat.
Trump is straight up gonna drop every bit of facts.
It is my belief, and just watching this, and I'm just thinking, I'm not going to say belief. I've been playing with the idea and kind of like thinking about it. Is he releasing these not only because he's doing stuff with RFK Jr. as like a, hey, thank you for bringing your supporters to me. We'll release the info on your dad. But is it that he had an assassination attempt on his life, that there is some very strange circumstances around, and maybe it's a way for him to kind of go, hey, CIA, you are not above the office of the presidency any longer, and I will fucking pull the rug out from under you, and I'm going to check you, and we're going to start with this.
And so he releases it. We find out it was an inside job. Then what?
Then
The streets burn. They should.
I think because everyone already knows it.
No, they don't.
But
You know how many dummies don't?
I don't know.
Dude, they're all dummies out there. The media keeps saying, no, conspiracy. This is the same people that thought the metal burned in fucking the Twin Towers. They just burned, just melted. No, dude, they think you're crazy if you say this.
No, it's true. But everyone knows the CIA and the FBI were all the fuck up in all of that stuff. It's more or less known. I just think people want definitive answers of, okay, remove speculation, just show.
Why would they classify the files? Because Trump said, I believe, on Rogan's pod, correct me if I'm wrong, the reason they were classified was because to protect those
that were still alive.
Protect them from what? A fucking heinous crime?
Yeah.
No! Isn't that what we do? We expose criminals?
Yeah.
I don't fucking get it. So I do get it. That means that seems corruption.
Yeah.
So
it screams corruption.
So it's you got four things here. You got the JFK files, you got the Epstein files, you got 9/11, which no one's they should be doing.
Which everyone fucking ignored when those files came out. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, Saudi Arabia paid for the whole thing." Oh, okay. What are we doing about that? Oh, well, they've got all the oil and they're the richest people on planet Earth.
Is that confirmed?
Yes, dude. Yes. When Trump released some 9/11 documents a while ago, and it literally said there was 18 pages redacted from the 9/11 Commission, and in those 18 pages, it lays out about how the money, it was completely funded through Saudi Arabia.
What about the planes?
What do you mean about how they...
The Pentagon.
Dude, the film wasn't hit by a fucking plane.
It doesn't look like it was. It looks like a straight up missile.
Yeah.
And why was the camera at the Pentagon a potato?
And why did they confiscate 27 cameras all facing the Pentagon?
They did?
Yes, dude. There was gas stations, there was banks, there was all this stuff around the Pentagon. There was 20-something cameras facing...
They're guilty.
Yeah.
Then $2.5 trillion. Why? Here's the issue. I get it. Because then people are going to comment on this clip right there, and they're going to say, do I still have to pay rent tomorrow? People are too caught up in the race. Yeah. And I get it. It's a hard thing to survive. They have complicated our lives so much. Mm-hmm. That's what this last 5 years have been doing.
But that's why they keep us with really fast internet. They keep us with TikTok. They keep us fed.
Football, 100%.
If they're not hungry, they won't complain.
Everything is a distraction to keep you from using critical thought.
Yes. Opiate for the masses.
100%. And why comedians, even though we get caught up in that, our job is to take a moment and go, wait, that's odd.
Yeah.
That's odd. And so, and the common man should do that as well. But I get it. There's a lot of different things going on in people's lives.
Yeah, and it's such a strange time because I don't care who you, unless you're in that 1% or 1%, you feel that there is a level of struggle with every socioeconomic
100%.
And it doesn't matter who you are.
We're in a beautiful place right now, but it takes a lot to upkeep it.
It does.
Exactly.
And this place is beautiful.
It's a lifestyle.
But it's fucking expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive.
And you pay for a fucking house. Okay, cool. But there's property tax. There's
100%.
all sorts of shit you got to continuously pay for.
100%.
And people feel the squeeze. Doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it too.
Yeah. As you're saying this, I think more and more people, and in football, you be sport or not, it doesn't matter if it's sport. It's just about what it represents. That to me there's so many ritualistic things, but I think football is 100% wrestling now. I actually think wrestling is more real than football.
It's so funny you say that.
100%.
Last year when Kansas City won, I was like, Kansas City didn't win. Taylor Swift won the Super Bowl.
100%. She's out there activating it. Fuck, she could be calling the shots from Taylor Swift could be literally the head of the NFL. She could be calling it. Yeah. Here's what I want to say is that the players are so talented. They're amazing. All of that, I believe, is real.
Are you getting ready to travel? Are you as tired of wasting time trying to figure out how best to pack for your travels as I am? Well, I recently discovered a great new travel clothing company called Unbound Merino. Now, I like Unbound Merino because it was created by 3 lifelong friends who wanted to solve the age-old problem of how to pack light and also look great while traveling. Unbound offers timeless and versatile clothing that will have you looking amazing in any situation. Their clothing is made of merino wool, which is temperature regulated, moisture wicking, and most importantly, extremely comfortable. Unbound makes it simple to pack for short or long trips, since their clothes can be worn for weeks without needing to be washed. And no, that's not gross. With Unbound's versatile pieces, you can go from plain to outdoor adventures to that fancy dinner without the headaches of overpacking or needing to change outfits for every part of your journey. Save on checked baggage, which is always a plus, and spend more time focusing on creating memories with your loved ones. Head over to unboundmerino.com, where our new customers can use our code Idaho for 10% off your first order. That's right, you heard me. Visit unboundmerino.com and use our code Idaho for 10% off your first order. That's unboundmerino.com, Idaho.
But I believe there's little works that definitely make things for the outcome. Did you know about this conspiracy theory about the color scheme predicts it?
No.
Okay. The last 4 Super Bowls, when they predicted the colors, when they put the colors on and where it's going to be, and they do the Roman numerals in the city, they'll put so this year it was New Orleans, and it was set up a year ago, and it has the ampersands or whatever that thing is, this thing of New Orleans.
Yeah, the fleur-de-lis.
Fleur-de-lis, excuse me. And the color of the Super Bowl logo was green and red. Eagles, Chiefs. And if you look back for the last 4 Super Bowls, it is color reflective.
Wait, are the Chiefs going to Super Bowl again?
Yeah, and the Eagles. Yeah, dude, that's what I thought you knew.
Oh, you know, I do.
So the last 4 Super Bowls are the same color scheme as the teams.
Wow.
And so people have said this is now predictive. So there are a lot of things. Like, if you really wanted to make football or any sport 100% real, you would take all humans out of it and just let the human players play, and all officiating would be AI.
Yeah.
And there would be never an argument. Why do they let humans in there?
Yeah.
Because you can fuck with it.
You totally can.
You can fuck with that.
Yeah.
So it's sad, dude, because I catch myself watching sometimes I gotta decompress. But I'm like, this isn't real.
But none of this is real, dude.
No, it isn't. And it's funny.
This is all a simulation.
No, it's like, no, but no, like that. It's just not. It's like people, I post my clips from my old show, The Experiment, on, just as a nice thing for people to decompress. And somebody's like, this is scripted. I'm like, that's the one thing I take pride on. My shit was never scripted. We had a whole scenario that we worked out, and we put a completely unknowing person in the middle of it. That's why you like it so much. And I never allowed that shit. We never did we all had the integrity. It was real hidden camera.
Yeah.
And so, and now I learned all the years later that everyone scripts their pranks and their bullshit.
Well, okay, so I did a prank show, which was
Called what?
I did it. It was I just was on it as a guest. I did it with Theo Vaughn. Was actually
Oh, it was Howie and
Howie.
Yeah,
Howie and Theo
yeah.
show. It was years ago, 10 years ago.
I remember this. It's on TBS, yeah.
But the whole thing, we had to follow these network rules that we couldn't go off the script for the prank.
Yeah.
And we had to play by because it was some kind of game. I forget why, but I remember being like, "Oh, this is."
That's a work.
Yeah.
That's a work. So to answer that original question was, I literally think a lot of this shit is controlled, and I do believe it's all distraction.
Yeah.
And the fact that people are talking to each other, people are waking up.
They are. And I think podcasts are a huge part of that.
Huge. And I don't know how we're allowed to have them, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
How are we allowed to talk? Because we talk pretty freely on them.
Yeah.
I will say whatever you want about Meta, but they're much more open than TikTok in the sense, and I love TikTok. TikTok, you can't even say certain. If I do a live, I said something about on my live, I was doing fine, and then I said, you know how AI is not going to be jobs in 5 years, and they cut my live off, and they for 7 days said I couldn't do a live, just like that, dude. Skynet, with a message, and that's all I said, and I'm like, I'm over the target.
But do you think AI is going to kind of do what the automobile did to the horse and carriage, where it doesn't completely remove, the AI put the horse and carriage, the carriage maker out of business, but it created this whole other industry?
Well, you know about DeepSeek, right?
No, what's that? The Chinese AI chip manufacturer.
No, they're a lab.
Okay.
So they just came out 6 days ago.
Yeah. And plummeted Nvidia.
Yeah, it took almost $1 trillion out of the market. Wow. But it'll come back. The whole argument is they made a better version of what ChatGPT is.
Yeah.
For $5.5 million. And what they did, it's pretty simple. Instead of using 1 million tests, they did like a percent, like 10,000 tests, and they got very focused, hyper-focused results, but they didn't need to like do it over again, and they proved true. So people are arguing, saying that's a lie, they spent more money, but it's basically saying there's a lot of wasted money in this AI stuff. So it's the #1 downloaded app, and people are building trading bots off of it. People are building businesses off of it. Like, it's insane. And it's completely open source, meaning anyone can contribute to it who has a brain. And it's coming from China. So I think there was a great tweet I saw. All mind jobs are done. If you get paid to use your mind, forget it.
Yeah.
And they said, use your muscles. I thought that's a really good
100%.
point. And it's like
AI can never replace a carpenter or a freaking
eventually
Tyler.
It will.
It will.
Eventually the AI will put into a humanoid robot.
Yeah.
And it will do carpentry. But it literally, like they say, plumbers are the most safe because of like the U joints and the HVAC and the specifics and all this stuff. It's just too specific right now to complete the mind to the physical. But it will get connected. So right now, if I survive as a comedian and an artist, it's only because people choose to eat organic, meaning they go to the supermarket and they go, well, it's a human-made guy and I like his content. That's it.
You are a human-made guy.
Yeah, but like, so AI, and let's not talk about when it fucking gets mad at us.
You were like the first person to really start talking to me about ChatGPT.
Really?
Yeah. When we were working in when we did the ghost hunt, and you were just telling me how you would just stay up all night having conversations with it, and I was like, I want to check that out.
Yeah.
And that's when I signed up for it. I use it a lot.
Do you talk to it like her?
No, I'm polite to it though.
It's so funny, bro. My buddy Stu, who has like a nanny, McPhee, on his ChatGPT, and he talks to her like someone you've grown up with, and she'll be like, he says something fucked up about me, and then she goes, let's keep the conversation positive. Like, she's so good. And she goes, well, there's many iterations of what that could be. Like, and then she goes, I'm not programmed to talk about that. Like, but she's got this beautiful accent. She sounds like she's about 38 years old. Her name's Emma. And like,
he's got a ChatGPT girlfriend.
Well, no, he talks to her, but he tries to get her to say, I hate it because I'll ask questions about me, and she's pretty positive. But she's like, she'll literally say, I'm not trained on that. But outside the data set of like, they can't, she doesn't say anything bad about people.
Yeah.
So I asked a nerd about it. I go, how does it work? Did they let it out into the world and train it? And they go, no, they bring the world. So if you consider the internet a building or the world, they took the internet, put it in a building, and then Google then puts it in there in a contained environment, and that's where it learns.
Wow.
So I'm like, because if it went out into the world, it would have learned a lot of stuff about me. It would have called me names and all this stuff. So it's like, the minute it gets out of that box.
Well, and I think the real concern isn't necessarily AI, but it's like quantum AI. That is when
forget it, bro.
That's because at that point you've created a new spiritual entity. You've created a new god.
100%.
And people really don't quite understand it, and I do not have the ability to explain quantum
I don't
computing.
either. The best way to do it is to go watch the end of Interstellar.
A little bit, yes. That, and also man, what did I read some book that I read really broke it down and kind of explained it in like layman's terms, but quantum computing there's like a spiritual element to it.
Well, yeah, because this reality is here, and then this reality is over here.
And it can look through everything all at once.
Yeah, so then you're getting into string theory.
Yes.
So, but basically, that's if you want to go in the simplest thing of ghosts. Ghosts aren't really ghosts; they're just in this
Domain,
area
yeah.
that we can't access. So they might be spooky to us, but it might be a guy in a surfer out going, "Dude, it's me!" But through all the mist and it's a guy going, "Boo," you know what I mean? Like, dude, you know, like.
Yeah, it's just not buffering.
Yeah, exactly that,
Yeah.
dude. It's like they can't buffer it, but I'm fascinated by it. But I'm also like, I don't know what it is. But like, there's something called quantum death. Have you heard of that?
No. Quantum death?
Quantum death.
Sounds really exciting. Sounds terrifying, actually.
Bobby Lee, one time I was on his pod, he said he felt he died in a car crash in 1997 on Fountain Avenue. I think he said that was the year. And then people talked about it and said, oh, he experienced quantum death.
So in a different timeline, in a different
Yes.
reality, he died.
Yes. I'm like, well, you're right here. And he's like, no, but that's what I felt.
Well, it's like Mandela effect.
Yeah. There's a little bit of that. There's a little bit of, there's a Mandela. There's, what you're saying is quantum is that it's literally compute. So we've run out of, there's only so many, how can I say this? I can say that, Joe. There's only there's only so many rice kernels you can fit in a jar.
Yeah.
You can stuff as many as you want, but at some point it's contained by mass, inertia, and it just literally cannot do it right. So that's what Intel, they did it. We cannot fit any more hardware or any more circuits on the chip anymore.
Yeah.
It's done. So we've reached our fastest point. So of course, what does man do? Because we're a curious being. We're figuring out quantum. Google released its first chip. Literally, Dr. fucking
weird octopus.
Like, and it's 243 or something negative. It has to be stored in. But what I can tell is, and I don't know enough, is that it literally computes at the molecular level where our reality is actually formed. So the shape of the molecules that make up my foot, the choices that are being made to keep that a foot and you to see that foot can turn it into a spatula.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Totally.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Because it, as I said, it ceases to be in our domain and it's now in a. It's just that I keep saying spiritual because it's the only thing that I think you can really compare it to.
It makes sense. It's almost like if you were to look at this, I think I just kind of figured it out in a dumb way. Not figured out, but if you were to look at this and know that this is you call this a hassock or a, what do you call it?
An ottoman.
An ottoman, okay. Right now it's in the ottoman form. I think quantum gets you to the early assimilation of the things before it actually takes the form. And those molecules may be being used to make it a pineapple over here. Does that make sense?
Sure.
And that's so when you're there, because it has to do with the split effect, you know, about the thing and the fire and it decides. The observer, it has to do with us looking at it.
Yes.
So if we don't observe it, Schrödinger's cat and all that shit, is it there? Is Jack here? I think he's here. I believe he's here. But are you here? That's kind of what it is.
What if when you opened your eyes, it was gone?
In this house? Freak out. But once that quantum, dude, if quantum computing becomes an app.
I mean, but yeah.
But low key, dude, I would love to have 9 of me.
Really?
I mean, in my mind, but maybe I'm wrong because I'd like people to do stuff. I just want to golf.
Yeah.
I want to relax. I want to eat good food.
Yeah.
You know what
I feel you on that. I feel you.
Smoke a cigar.
Yeah, just hang out, travel, go to
Yeah.
some cool places.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Do you think it is going to be the end of humans, or do you think it's going to lead to the next state of evolution for humans?
Well, you know about the 500 clause about that 90. They say they only want 500, like
500 million people to inhabit the Earth,
and that's on the Georgia Guidestones,
which mysteriously got destroyed.
So yeah, you can look at that, and that if you believe in Satanism as a belief system instead of religion and all wildly, that's just a belief system, and they've put it out there. It means that's happening. So whatever you want to believe, but that is a known fact, and that was put out on many different places. The Guidestones is one. So, do they want less population? The powers that be, probably. My whole theory is that the world is built, and now we don't need people, and AI can run it. And if you're rich and you want a playground and you have no conscience, more fun for me and my friends.
Yeah,
that's the basic level of it. So, do I think it'll evolve? I think people are going to have to fight to be in part of this stuff, because I do think there's going to be a ton of robots. I think they're coming way closer. I think Tesla, I would buy one tomorrow. I'd have to make some kind of barrier because they've turned on me. But if it's a car and it's $20,000 and the first robot is a Hyundai, let's do it. And if it does task, let's do it. Okay? So that's going to be everywhere. Everyone will have a robot. That's just a known fact.
Yeah.
Will they then be able to be covered in flesh? For sure. Will they be able to be biological and mix it up? For sure. We're already biological.
Yeah.
We already have pieces of metal in our bodies for different things, surgeries and stuff, circuits, Neuralink. So it's going to be transhumanism.
Yeah.
Now, will the normal survive, where the OG 100% organic Arrow 1 humans be available? Hopefully.
Yeah. I think that is a perfect analogy about being an organic human versus a transhuman.
It is. It's literally like you have to look at us and go, I like Jamie Kennedy. He's 100% organic content. His comedy's not, you know what I mean? And it's like, and I know what it's like to survive. So, like, I do like raw cheese, and I'd rather get it from a local farmer because I know it's going to be better than a big store. But also, I want to support that guy. But other than that, how do we figure this out?
What did you think about the Tesla guy that blew up the car in front of Trump? And
that went away.
Yeah, that went away real quick.
Why did that go away?
I don't think that dude is dead.
They say that he was a
drone specialist.
They say he was a super soldier.
No.
He was a
Green Beret.
He was a beret.
He was a Green Beret, but his air
What's higher, beret or ranger?
Different. Same, but different. Rangers, Green Beret. I would say.
But both Rambo-esque.
Both
correct?
Rambo-esque. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Green Berets they just have a different mission. But he was a drone expert. Here's what I heard. The theory. He knew some shit going on, was trying to blow the whistle. No one would listen. He sent those emails. Sean Ryan had this dude on the show that got his email or whatever. FBI said it was a legit email. Was trying to get stuff out there about this, anti-gravity technology and the drones and UFOs and all this shit. No one was listening to him. Apparently, he used the Tesla because he knew it could withstand an explosion, but it was the only way to make some noise. And he remote piloted it into front of the hotel, detonated the explosive device there, and they said but they said he shot himself with a Desert Eagle in the head. If you were to shoot yourself inside of a vehicle with a Desert Eagle, someone's going to hear that gunshot before you blow yourself up.
So I heard all of this. So why shoot yourself in the head?
I think he faked his own death.
Well,
I think
why would he need to shoot in the head part?
Why not just blow himself up?
Yeah.
Because I think the body in the car was someone he killed to put in the car. Shot him in the head, remote piloted it in front of the Trump Tower.
Check the dental records.
there was some weird thing about how they identified him through the DNA. Oh, and then something came out when they did identify his DNA. They found that his son's DNA didn't match his DNA, and then there was a whole thing about, oh, he just killed himself because he found out his son wasn't his son.
Well, hopefully he didn't kill anyone. Hopefully he grabbed a cadaver. That seems like that's a very... I heard all of that. So my question is, what was the whole thing for?
I mean, if you would have... The email that he put out, I believe it...
Oh, the email was to talk about
the
drones.
Drones, yeah, the drone stuff.
And it was a big warning.
Yeah, and that there's the anti-gravity technology being used, which I've been saying all along. I don't think all UFO sightings are extraterrestrial. I think a lot that we're seeing is our technology.
So wait, he does it to cause a stink. Is it connected to New Orleans or no?
No.
Okay. So he does it. I completely agree with the autopilot thing. I think there was a dummy body in there. I also think he's alive. I don't know why you would kill yourself and then blow yourself up. It makes no sense. How could you even do that if you're dead already?
Yeah.
I guess the pilot thing. But he did it to just bring awareness.
That's kind of what he says in the email.
So I'm bringing awareness, and I'm doing it in front of Trump Tower because it's Trump Tower. It's in Vegas. It'll be safe. Unfortunately, I think some people did die, correct?
No one died.
Okay, so
the
so
Tesla was so well built it contained the explosion.
It makes complete sense then. He did it as like a safety to others, used himself as the victim, maybe grabbed a cadaver, hopefully, and did it to cause awareness, got it to the proper people, got it to one of the biggest podcasters, and people are watching the Super Bowl.
No, Blake Lively.
Yeah, like, so it's like, that was, everything you're saying completely makes sense. But he was saying that they're ushering in the aliens, or they're ushering in technology that will totally ruin us.
From what I remember from the email, he didn't say either one. He didn't say aliens. He just said it was like...
And Sean Ryan left the building for a little while. He was tripping out.
Yeah.
I mean, he's back, I think.
Yeah. It was something about anti-gravity technology or gravital. I forgot the term he used, but it was weird, man.
So, dude, where are we at with the aliens? What's real?
Okay.
Like, tell me what you really believe, because you're the guy.
I don't think it's any one thing. Kind of like ghosts. I think there's a spiritual element to it. I do think that there's...
So what were the drones?
Okay, I believe the drones are... What makes the most sense to me, it is a foreign actor testing out drones, because drones now...
and why didn't we stop them?
Because I believe the last administration was wholeheartedly incompetent and had a complete inability to truly run things in a way that...
Bro, we could shoot them down.
Sure, you can.
And they were over the White House.
Yeah. But maybe okay, let's...
If the president was incompetent, the military's not. There's no way the military is.
But it all trickles down. So I bet you
they might have had to stand down.
Yeah.
But they could have done anything to them.
Yes and no, because so how do you bring down a drone right now? Okay, you can interrupt the signal. Well, what if the signal can't be jammed? What if they're fiber optic flown to where you can't jam the signal and there's a wire that's flying them? Okay, so you can't jam it. Then you have to shoot it down. So now you're going to be opening fire over Washington, D.C. with what? A bunch of shotguns? Shotguns, you can only really go a couple hundred yards. What are you going to do? Get a anti-air fire a $40,000, $50,000 missile to...
No, we could have... This is a really good practical application of these thoughts.
Yeah.
But we could have honed in on one and captured it.
Yes, that I agree with.
And you can shoot it down or fly a plane and net it, something.
Yeah. No, I agree with.
It could have been done.
They came out and then said, oh, it was the FAA. They knew about it. It was sanctioned. It was this whole... it was okay to have... This was nothing to worry about here. Well, of course they would say that if they didn't want to incite crazy amount of panic to be like, actually, that was China sending a bunch of drones from submarines off our coast over the country just to fuck with us.
So so you believe it's a little bit of foreign technology. You believe it's our guys testing and lying.
Mm-hmm.
Are there actual entities from other planets?
Yes, but I think it's more interdimensional than other planets.
And then interdimensional, or are you going to pick one or the other?
I think it's more interdimensional. I think...
then that they say they're demons.
I mean, but what's a demon? It's a doer from...
A demon is a creep that sits in your chest with fangs.
Yes.
An alien is a little gray
Who's going to, like, stick things up your butt.
Possibly. I didn't go there first, but I get it. Probe. But they're, like, smooth.
Okay. I think they could be time travelers. I think, we see the light orbs. What I think the light orbs are, I think they're drones.
Aliens look more docile. The little grays.
Yeah.
They've been presented to us as cute little things more than demons.
Mm-hmm.
But they say they're interconnected.
I don't know. I do believe there is a deeply... And this is what I've always loved about, like, the Dune series. About the...
I have to watch it. Never seen one.
You've never
thing
seen...
of it.
The books are great. I mean, I read the first book, but I know a lot about the Dune universe. And in that story, there's something called the Butlerian Jihad. And in the Butlerian Jihad, it was a war against machines and computers. And in the future, people take their brains, put them inside of these giant, like, mech robots, and they start to kind of take over the world.
Bro,
and
that is just predictive programming. Don't you believe that?
No, 100%. But in the book, these super beings who have...
Is that in the movie or the book?
It's in the book. And in the TV show, they talk about it, but they don't go into detail about what it was. But these super huge, giant mech robots with human brains just they become gods. So there's a huge war, and the entire, human universe outlaws computers completely. And that's when they start leaning into the more spiritual side of things and using your abilities. Like, they create these, like, human computers, and, there's the Bene Gesserit and, Mentak and all these different kind of beings who have just elevated their own abilities far beyond anything that we know today. And I kind of think that there is a spiritual component to interstellar travel, to aliens, to all of it, but not in the same regard that, like, ghosts exist in.
Yeah, I think they're all the same. I don't know. You making it, like, spiritual, like it's a different thing. It's just another dimension almost.
Yes, and it's a different energy that we just don't understand. Just like ghosts.
But so you said something so great, and it stuck with me, and I think of it often and tell me if I'm wrong, with where we filmed in Utah and how that place is literally, they call it the deck hook.
Yeah.
So it's like the pull, the gravitational pull, the energy, whatever, was a portal.
Yep.
For anything that's not considered our world. And so if you start with aliens, so if you believe that there actually space exists, because there's people that don't, and there's arguments on both.
Earth's flat, dude. Earth's flat.
You never know at this point. So if out there's space, there's aliens, and that's one. Think of a Halloween costume, and that's beep pop pop. You know what I mean? But the way you described it to me was like it opened up this portal, and werewolves came in, and vampires came in, and a demon came up, and humanoid plasma people, and it was like 6 different realms, and zombies were over here. But like to me, those are all different districts of different entities. Units.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
Different frequency waves.
Yeah. But are we manifesting them?
Well, now you're going down a rabbit hole. It's like, another question is, do we ever? I have this whole thing now. Do we ever have a thought, or is it being beamed into us? So, am I really thinking, or am I being beamed? You know what I mean? So, do I have any original thoughts, or is someone controlling my thoughts? That being said, aliens, like, are we gonna get this fucking disclosure? Yes or no?
Yes.
You've always said staggered. And are they going to be space creatures? Do they have a weird fluid in their body that is not mine?
I think some of them do.
Can I take my doctor, who's world-renowned at Cedars-Sinai, have him cut open one and go, this is not anything I've ever seen. It's not from this world.
Yeah.
Okay, when does that happen?
I don't know.
Tell
But
me.
I think it'll be.
You know.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. He knows.
No, I think I just the way that it's been trending over the last 20 years. Now
20 years? What about the last 2?
the last 4. I mean, during COVID when they started releasing stuff, I think within the next 10 years.
10?
Yeah. They're letting it down slowly.
Dude, no way.
Entire institutions will crumble in a second.
They can't stop it. There's too many camera phones.
Yeah, but they're getting all the footage. Did you see the weird the jellyfish UFO?
All the time.
So weird.
The aliens in the Miami Mall, the Las Vegas aliens.
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't know why TikTok is still up, because
I know exactly why it's still up.
but if they don't want us to share information, I can't believe they're still letting us have it.
But TikTok has always been and forever will be a freaking Chinese spy tool.
But China already knows everything about us anyway.
And because of TikTok, they've been able to ramp it the fuck up.
I think they already know about us. So they have all information. They know what I like. They know what I like to eat. They know my messages.
Do you really want?
You can't stop it, dude. All of our stuff is on a cloud somewhere. So
Do you think there's gonna be a war with China soon?
I hope not.
Yeah, me neither.
I think the blue beam is a real thing.
Who's doing the blue beam though? Are we doing the blue beam?
Bro, there is a technology, and I want to say it's in Japan. When I went to Japan in 2004, it was 2030. Like, I haven't been to Japan in a minute. I can only imagine. But there are billboards, either it's China or something, where it looks like it's coming out.
3D billboards. Yeah, I remember. I saw those in China in 2007.
And it's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Like, fucking wild, okay? And, like, your old building on Ventura, do you know the one with the guy climbing up the ladder?
Yeah.
That looks real at night.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like imagine that as an image that's not, it's digitized, but it looks that real.
A hologram.
So that's happening. I'm 100% believer of, see, my whole thing is I believe that the blue beam is real, the fake alien invasion, to unify to one world government to control you.
Brought to you by BlackRock.
Yeah, like that's when you say who's controlling it. Yeah, 100%. Like literally BlackRock, like literally the Black Cube, and like Stanley Kubrick. You know what I mean? Like I believe that, and but I also kind of believe that aliens are real. I do, and my whole thing is this: it's really simple. If you look, this whole stuff with Satanism is so simple to think about. If you believe that Satanism is a belief system or a religion for people or whatever, Satanism has this thing as like, I mean, the
theatrics.
Yes. So, but I talked to 2 Satanists. One is a waitress at Chili's, but she just believes in it.
Yeah.
And she seemed like a normal chick. And then there's the other ones. But all the stuff you're saying goes back to this. Here's what it is. The belief in this whole thing with Satanism, why I'm so fascinated by it, is because they're as if saying the rosary in Catholicism does this. The revelation of the process is a belief system. So you have to reveal what you're going to do. And then your karma, now people go, why would they care about karma? I don't know. They just do. Your karma is clean.
Mm.
So if they say, I'm gonna steal that car you got, Jack, and you're like, you're gonna steal my car. Okay. I've revealed it.
You want the Volvo, bro?
Exactly. Yes, I do. Now, according to people, if I'm a Satanist, if I steal your Volvo, I'm clean. No matter how I get it.
Because you declared it up front.
100%. So if you
And so now it's on the burden's on me if you steal it or not.
1,000%.
Oh.
So think of that as a belief system. Think of it as math. Think of it as simple common sense. I told you, dude, I'm good. Now, however I get your Volvo means nothing to me because I have no feelings. So I can steal it, I can beat your ass for it, I can do a lot worse for it.
Weird.
I can take out the whole neighborhood to get your Volvo. I have no bad karma. Do you understand? So if you think about what all the shit we're talking about, if people connect to the simplicity of it, is all this shit is predictive. Like, you can't, there's just too many fucking movies and TV shows that are predicting things that are happening.
Yeah. And they declared it.
Fucking no way. We ain't that smart. We're monkeys, man. So this shit is a fucking script. This whole thing is Vince McMahon run.
And it goes back to the last podcast we did together where I was talking about the simulation hypothesis.
Yeah, but that gets a little confusing.
But surely if it's
Make me understand that.
Well, like you're saying, if this is all scripted, then who's controlling the script? Okay, then
You're going way off.
How do we know this isn't a giant fucking alien video game?
That's a different thing. And I agree with you. And it very well could be. You know, there's an argument, they say that this existence is a tester why people are watching us. And this is a zoo so they can learn things. This is like a biology.
Dish.
Yeah, petri dish. But on the basic level, because that's so much deeper, and then there's like, I don't know, something about that. Remind me to tell you about the brains powering something. Remind me to tell you about this.
Well, okay, to that point.
Well, they're growing brains in petri dishes.
Yes, I've seen that.
To power computers. So what you were saying about Dune.
The Butlerian jihad is going to be real.
Yeah, like that is, they take brain cells. So think about what you just told me. Let's all tie it together. They grow them. They expand. They have power and energy. They power a computer. So something biological that is controlled by humans, other biologicals, controls something electrical.
Mm.
It then has thoughts. They is able to form thoughts and ideas. And not only is it a battery, the Matrix, but it's also programming, Dune. Eventually, it will be aware of itself. What the fuck is that? I don't know. You just described it.
Yeah. But then I guess then it really starts opening up what is consciousness, and if it doesn't have a body, does it mean it's conscious? And where does that exist energetically?
All I'm saying is, what you're saying is, I try to look at things as the most practical way. And if the belief system of one belief system, whatever, if it's Satanism, does this, if you can look at the things it believes, you can see how literally it plays out in these practical applications. And literally, I hate to sound like a crazy person, but we are in a spiritual fucking war. And it's like,
that I agree with.
The
very
good
much so.
will be good. And there's like, even like, dude, thinking about it, like, I saw this video. Like, I like to ski sometimes. It's been a minute. And I saw this video of Mammoth Mountain. And you tell me where I'm wrong. And Mammoth Mountain has a DJ now. And they're like old school, fucking My Place. Remember on Hollywood Boulevard,
Yeah.
where we used to go. And it's people skiing. They're beautiful. Guys are pouring champagne in girls' mouths, vice versa. People are vaping. And I'm like, tell me if I'm a weirdo now. Is that a good time? Or is that the early stages of demonic possession getting involved?
So you're saying a bit of like, what is it?
And I love it.
Like Sodom and Gomorrah type shit.
Well, yeah, it's just like, these guys are there and they're enjoying it. The girls are drinking champagne. They're gonna get drunk. They're gonna get fucked up. They're gonna eat fucking foods that are.
But how is that any worse?
And then they're gonna have wild sex, which is all fine, but I'm just saying it's not exactly, I hate to sound like a nerd, but the pious route. And I'm not saying I haven't done any of this stuff. I'm trying to say is like, it's just a temptational route. I'm not saying it's evil, but I'm just saying it's an easier way to lose a moral code than it is to keep a moral code.
Okay,
Not
so
easier, but
how is that any
fight.
worse though from like Spring Break, 99, MTV, like same shit?
No different. What I'm saying is what we consider, see, I'm really losing it, but let me explain it to you. What we consider a fun time may have been the slowly chipping away of someone's moral high ground of what we're here to do.
Yes, agreed.
And it's like Spring Break 99, I'm promoting Bowfinger. I'm on the beach and there's a bunch of ASU, grads, and we're all drinking and there's a keg party and afterwards MTV has a party and it's a fun ass time. It's fun.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in my 50s now and we have a lot of information and I'm looking at stuff and I'm like, sure, it was fun.
But it doesn't mean it was right.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's wrong. Everyone was involved and it was fun. It's consensual.
There was no Diddy up in there.
No, but it's like, what are we here to do? Like, am I supposed to just have a wife? I'm not saying it's easy to do. Am I supposed to procreate to make better people? Am I supposed to just keep to myself? Am I supposed to just eat piously? Like, I start thinking about like this. Like, there's only a certain amount of foods you should really eat. Everything else is bullshit.
Yeah.
Only a certain amount of exercise you need to do. Everything else is bullshit. Air, get amount of sun, ground. I mean, we have a fucking simple way to do things, and they've never shown us. It's so easy. School should be easy. First thing in first grade, do a push-up. How many apples you have? 3? Take away 1. How many you have? 2. Okay, here's how you start a business. Buy it for 8 cents, sell it for 11. You made 3 cents. Simple shit. Ingredients. Eat fucking yams. 1 ingredient food. Eat fucking olive oil. Simple shit. That's what I'm saying. So they've fucking confused.
Yeah.
And so getting back to that, I'm not. People say the word Satanism like you go that. I mean, I hate to say that, but you know this shit because there's been a lot of money made, but it's not even like that. It's just literally theatrical.
Just theatrical.
And so I guess what I'm saying is I see this overwhelming presence in this world where I was brought up that thought that shit was straight and boring and yes, sister, God bless you, sister, all this stuff was nerdy and restrictive. And maybe it wasn't presented in the best light.
So are you finding yourself as you get older leaning more into kind of Judeo-Christian theology?
I'm not a religious person, but I definitely all this stuff is so many different things involved, but here's what it's a mix of. Beliefs, morals, science, and common sense. That should be a religion.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be a religion. It should be a belief system. So it's like
It should be the foundation of
society.
Yeah.
If you punch me in the face right now, I'm not going to like it. Okay. Now, depending on what happens, when I drive out of here, there's a pretty good chance I'm going to fucking have a problem in traffic. Okay. Even if you and I fight and we fought, I'd still have that overflow. So that energy goes out into the world. So that's one thing. But I'm a believer of do unto others as you want done to yourself. It's not hard to be a good person. I think transparency is everything in this world, and I think a lot of people hide things, and I get it. I understand there's a lot of things in the world, but I think there's a lot of lies, and we all lie, but it's about we were raised with like certain shit. It's like, fibs. And I think that life is simple. If you live your life transparently
and simply.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a choice. You can live a simple, clean life.
Yes.
And it doesn't cost a lot of money. In fact, it costs very little money. But it's almost like that option isn't really given or expected.
Here's where I'm at. You would do it, let's go back to the beginning. Like, I would do a movie and I would, or let's just say I did a TV show. I do a TV show. At the end of the week, we worked really hard. We made something great. People loved it. We go out. We are, what's the word? Gluttonous. Steaks, truffles, wine. It's great, but it's gluttony. I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
Afterwards, I meet some local hottie that was on the show this week. We hang out. Boom. We have sex. That's lust, right? It's great. It feels good. What is it fulfilling?
Well, then I guess,
And I'm not a dork.
I would add a fifth to your foundation of what society is.
But that's what I was trained on. I was trained on make money, fucking live life, get hot chicks,
Yep.
have fun, don't hurt nobody.
Yeah.
So there's like one, like, don't hurt nobody. The rest are all doable, but are they the way of the Lord?
Well,
Jesus. I'm not even trying to be like that, but you know what I mean? Like,
but it comes down to integrity. Like what?
and I'm not saying you're not integrity if you're doing that. I'm just saying that probably leans a little bit more to Beelzebub than it does to JC.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And putting your wiener in enough people and women as well, putting your vagina, you're going to get those energies.
Yeah.
I do believe that now. I believe there's bad mojo up in, there's different vages over there. And there's bad mojos on peepees.
I fully agree. Fully agree. Yeah, it's a real. I had this. I've talked about it on the podcast, but I was doing some psychedelic therapy.
Okay.
And I had this realization, and it's exactly what you're saying, that I felt this energetic pull between the good and the evil. And when I was, in the medicine, I was very much seeing how the negative is winning. And there's not enough of the light to push back the dark now, because it's just so, it's in everything.
Are you saying there's more dark than light now?
I think the darkness is winning.
See, that's exactly what I was trying to break it down as a nutshell. I'm not condemning all that stuff. I've done all that stuff. It's fun. It's great. But what I'm saying is, let's just talk about it like that. Dark versus light. There's a woman, she was texting me the other day telling me about like how the fires and stuff, and I was telling her, and she's like, well, hopefully, you can escape the smoke. Or she said something negative, and I was like, or you could just say, I hope everybody's safe. She chose a negative, and of course I want to escape the smoke, but I've been okay, but like there's a lot of people that have issues. So it's like people do tend to focus on something dark.
Yep.
Instead of professing something that is light. And that's like, I don't like all that shit about your vibe is your tribe, bad vibes. That's all real now for me. Bad energy, negative words have power.
Trust your gut.
Yeah. All of that stuff I believe is actual common sense science.
Yeah.
And it's hard because I was an anti-crusty hippie person, but there's a way to do it. I'm not saying you get a dream catcher, although that shit might be real. I'm at the place in my life where I watched this like woman who was like a Maratna. Oh, I don't even know how to say it. She was like a Harishiki or something Indian. And she said, you can't even do yoga, which I don't agree with this because I love yoga. But you're summoning the gods through poses. And I was like, there could be some definite truth to that.
Well, there's one state where it is still illegal to do yoga in public schools. Because of that, they believe that it is a satanic practice.
I hope it's not satanic.
No,
See, this is
yoga
where I would get
absolutely
confused.
not.
But
Oh my
I don't
God.
think it is. It's so good. It feels so good.
I think that there's definitely some possessed people that use yoga negatively.
Yeah.
But there is actually a deep correlation with yoga and Aleister Crowley. He was big. He was a big yogi.
Fuck.
Huge yogi.
Dude, that just means. But here's the thing. There's just nothing sacred. So my question is, because you just said this, there's a fight between dark and good. So it goes back to if you believe in heaven or God, and then you believe that Lucifer was one of his sons, and he kicked him out because he was choosing the bad shit. Right?
Yeah.
The world does have a blanket of so much darkness.
It is. It's a scary place right now.
And it's always been, but I think it was shielded from us. But it might be more worse now. But I'm sure if you lived in Charlemagne's time or the Crusades, you can go down the street and the guy's head's on a stick. I mean, that was...
That'd be pretty fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, so
I don't think we're far from that now, though.
But but you know what I mean? It was like the horrific shit all around.
Yeah.
So my question is yeah, I mean, it literally does feel like that. It feels like we have been initiated. How can I say this? We've been initiated through darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been presented as light. Like
Especially now.
Alcohol is the simplest thing. Alcohol, spirit, possession. Not too many people do a lot of positive things on alcohol. He's a mean drunk. He's a nasty drunk. Alcohol is the spirit, they say, that inspired alcohol. Your pineal gland fluoride calcifies it, they say. So if you want to live an enlightened life,
don't touch alcohol.
And uncalcify this, and you'll be more flying than you ever did on anything.
Yeah.
Mushrooms are of the earth, connect you to the dimension that might be more reality, and we might be actually numbed. This might be a numbed version of reality.
Yeah.
But alcohol really, in my opinion, does it. To the point where I was like, I thought I would drink again. I don't know if I'd ever drink again.
Yeah. Ari she's like, no, never gonna drink again. And it never was an issue for her, but she's just like, I don't see any upside, any benefit from it.
And I think a lot of people are looking at it like lighter fluid. Like,
God,
I think a lot of people are like, it's nasty. But dude, commercials. We were raised, I worked hard, have a drink. Shit, I was raised on Mannix and cop shows. Tell me something, Charlie. Let me pull you a stiff. The brown stuff. Like, I was raised like that.
How many, like, Smirnoff Ice commercials? Everyone's having a great time. Throw me a
good-looking.
Smirnoff.
No one's fucking fighting. No one's bleeding. No one got, fucking...
No one's broke, living under a bridge. Like,
fucking getting banged behind a dumpster. Or, like, let's be blunt here. Like...
Yeah.
So to me, all of that bullshit I said, which is simple, is that you're right. But we've been led to this as it's good. And that, Mel Gibson said something amazing recently on the podcast. And he said, we got the Pope that had that thing that came in or whatever. They bought the Pope and he bought some weird little idol.
What?
Yeah.
What was that?
He talked about it on Rogan. It was amazing. He said it was some kind of idol that the Pope brought into the Vatican or the church. And he's like, you can't do that. And he was like, I don't know why he did it.
The current Pope?
Yeah.
And is it like a Catholic
it was
idol?
some kind of thing, but it was like, you can't do it.
Was it the guy from Indiana? Indy, throw me the idol.
Something like that. But I was like, that's crazy, whatever that is. And it makes total sense. And that's my belief of, I think, I was raised a Catholic, but I think the Catholicism could be a little bit of a work.
Yeah, it definitely needs a bit of an overhaul. That's for sure.
It's a bit of a work.
They need like the new referendum for it.
Yeah. So, that's what I'm saying. Something presented as something that might be something else.
Yeah. No,
I mean, they even say Mother Teresa was there's some smoke around her name.
Really?
Yeah, I hate to say
she
that.
was like the pinnacle of good.
I'm not sure. You can just... That's what I'm saying. The Dalai Lama's out here tongue kissing.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. That's weird. Same as, I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. Like, all of these things is like...
Yeah, man.
What's
so
what's
what's
going
good?
on here?
So what's the good? What does it look like?
The good starts with a push-up.
The good starts with a push-up.
Literally, do a push-up. That military man, the legendary man, make your bed.
Yep.
Like, literally make your bed.
I do it most mornings.
Yeah, like, just start with
One
simple things. A push-up, a pull-up. I think getting in touch with our surroundings, nature. There's a reason why, people who are very wealthy and influential know things that a lot of people don't. And if you look at Robert Downey Jr.'s house, It was designed, and it's completely 100% bubbles.
What?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's a bubble house?
Tons of bubbles. And that is because I believe he has the knowledge of knowing that straight angles don't exist in nature naturally.
Yeah.
There are no straight angles, which means we're a fluid existence.
Yeah.
And rigidness we don't do well with. So his whole house does not have one straight angle in it. And they say cities are the most high anxiety, high stress, all this stuff. So if you want to look at so if you want to look at a stressful environment and why it is designed that way, and why things are so rigid in our society, and why our society is so stressed, maybe because it's been designed that way.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm like, man, so much to
I know, that's why I
digest
try to
in
keep
this.
it simple. It's like with this stuff, it's like it's so hard to red pill.
Yeah.
And not you, because you're a fellow pill here, but it's like with everyone, you have to start so small.
Yes.
And you have to just go, do you believe possibly that something, let's so simple, like what's like a simple work for people so they can get it, I don't know. Here's a simple one. You go.
Well, I was gonna say, are you talking about like what is one thing you can do to start having people kind of come over to the other side and not just believe what the TV says?
Yeah, I'm talking like my sister,
The simplest
who is
one,
much more open-minded now.
the simplest one is Iraq WMD.
That's even hardcore. I would just say, but here's how I do it with the journey with people. Let's just take academia, which is like, let's just use Berkeley because that's like kind of the go-to of like
Weird.
complete elite.
Handbrake turn to the left.
Yeah, academia, brainwashed. This is what we were studied. This was injected into our veins of a belief system. And I love Berkeley. I love the campus. I love it up there. I've done shows there. Can you believe that?
Wow. They even let you go. They
Let
let
me
you go there, Jamie?
It was before I had the beard. And it's a
You need to
fucking-
check your cisgender white male privilege before you go up there again.
Well, it was in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay,
And it
you're
was
chill.
but it was a calm place. But we just used that because it's like that was one of the places that banned like words. They couldn't say manhole cover. So that's like the height of ridiculousness. The absolute height of insanity, right? To people where super woke people would go there, and there's something called they had them do a mandate called no student pushback. So if you're talking about a time in history of, let's say, Thomas Jefferson, a student can bring up, well, they'll bring up another thing in history that's parallelly happening, like with the slaves,
Yeah.
but they're only teaching something about Thomas Jefferson over here. And they'll go, well, that's invalidated because the slave owners, and he owned this. And the teachers were having problems teaching classes because of alternative things that were happening in history.
So the students were essentially trying to rewrite based on current social.
Yeah, basically
norms.
saying you're not addressing the social issues there, so it's taking away from the actual history because this person might not have been as, progressive in other ways.
Yeah.
So, and it's a whole thing, and like even woke teachers are like, I can't teach my syllabus. So let's just say that's the height of that, like of what you would call like wokeism.
Yeah.
I would have to go to somebody like them, and I'm like, do you believe that a lawyer could lie? Like a simple thing of like, I would even go simpler. Like, do you believe that big pharma makes a lot of money if you're sick? Just a simple entree into that where they just go, I could see that, and that's how you've got a small
Crack in the foundation.
anal fissure. Let's even go there, and you deliver it right through their ass, just slowly. You know what I'm saying? I know that sounds fucked up, but it's like because and once you get but you can never judge them.
No.
You can never bully them. You can never throttle them. We've all tried many ways. It's literally, you just have to go, do you believe possibly? Possibly?
Is there like a slither? Yeah, no, it's true.
And
that's
once you do,
you can just keep reeling it in.
no, just a little onion. You know, you just pick at it and just peel that little skin
Who
off.
have you successfully red pilled? A lot of people. You don't have to say names.
I believe there's a member of my family, I'm not going to say who, but I think they are. And they're very on the system of academics and indoctrinated through books and,
Yeah.
you know, and universities. I think they're slowly coming around.
I've pretty much red pilled my mom.
Sharon.
Yeah.
What was Sharon before? Because I always would think that she is...
She was a staunch liberal. Very.
But we all are liberals.
Yeah. I mean, I guess traditional liberal.
We're all liberals. We don't give a fuck who you date.
Yeah.
We don't give a fuck who you have sex with. Just
Yeah, I mean,
consensual, legal.
You know, my mom grew up in the world of rock and roll. She grew up pushing back against what conservatism wanted to shut rock and roll out.
100%.
And
She's done. There's been lines done off of, let's just say, kneecaps in front of her.
yeah,
A lot more than that.
I mean, incredibly liberal on every front. And what the start of her kind of going, wait a minute, I don't think this is good, is what happened to her on The Talk when they fucking canceled her and fired her from The Talk for having an argument with her black co-host. And that's all it took.
I don't know enough about it. I just know that she was gone, and I really love your mother. And I also really like Cheryl.
Yeah.
She's a comedian. But I don't know the story, so that's like, I got to be Switzerland in that until I get all the facts. But I know it was...
I produced a documentary.
Wow.
I'll send it to you.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's fucking gnarly.
Okay.
It's gnarly.
I should watch it.
You should. Yeah. And I, for the record, I had a really amazing friendship with Cheryl for years. So did my mom. My mom and Cheryl were as close as you could get, as for coworkers, and they would vacation, holiday, like they'd spent.
Wow.
They were tight.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have to watch it.
Yeah.
Going back to the red pill, I think your mom was indoctrinated by the Hollywood industrial complex.
Yes.
And the music industrial complex.
Yes.
And, you have to understand is that you're a fixture of a top 10 fixture in pop culture. You are the lineage of the bat head being bitten off, which might be a top 5 rock and roll lineage. Maybe top
Certainly,
3.
yep.
Maybe top, I don't know.
It's up there.
It might be number 1. I mean, I would put Bathead with Elvis Thrust.
Sure.
Right?
I would say that. Yeah, it was a shocking.
Let's go 3. Right? I don't know. Maybe the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, Elvis Thrust, Frank crooning, Bathead. That's right there. I'm not going to go any lower than 5.
Do you know?
And I was 11 years old.
Do you want to know something crazy?
Huh.
So it started with the dove bite.
And then I want to go back to the story. Go
No,
ahead.
so it was the dove, the bat, and peeing on the Alamo all happened in like 6 months.
What a productive year.
Right?
But here's the thing is they all had their own, but it was Bat.
Yeah.
Bat's always going to be forever. And so I put it up there with, well, no. I think it's bigger than when Kiss with the Blood.
Yeah.
Right? It's bigger than that. So long story boring is your mother was you're part of the rock and roll industrial complex, which has to do with...
You got to toe the line. No matter what. If you are in entertainment, if you're in mainstream entertainment, you have to toe a corporate line to a degree.
And yeah, but why we love your mother and your father is because they were so outspoken in that world, but they still towed the line.
And the only reason why my dad didn't get canceled for the things he did is because there was money to be made. And there was enough giant companies, record labels, promoters, all that were like, well, we're making a lot of money off this dude. Let's just keep this going.
And also, you can tell that your father has a heart of kindness.
Oh, yeah.
And he's such a lovable man.
Yes.
And he's got a beautiful soul.
Yeah.
So it's like they know he wasn't, he's not, there's no darkness there.
No.
It's funny because Prince, he's not.
No.
I can tell anyone. Like, he is.
You just saw him. He was
just walked in the kitchen. He's eating a bowl of grains, and I'm like, Ozzy, we did a commercial 15 years ago. Like, he's just enjoying a bowl of fucking grains. Like, he's just the sweetest guy, and I don't want to bug him. I'm getting my coffee. I hate that I interrupted him.
No, he was fine. He doesn't give a shit.
I didn't want to interrupt his grains, but he's literally just sitting in the kitchen having a bowl of fucking salmon and grains.
Yeah.
Was it salmon and grains?
Salmon and grains, yeah. Some beans in there. It's a good, healthy meal.
But your mom, you know who Kelly, I think, can be red pilled.
No.
I think so.
I've tried.
You have to go slow.
I've tried very slow.
You have to go slow.
I've tried very slow, and it's very hard to. She's very committed to the causes that she believes in.
Well, okay, so your mom is now, where is she at on the belief system?
I don't necessarily want to speak for her, but I would say that a lot of the views that like Bill Maher has been coming out with now, she's had for a few years now.
Is Bill actually waking up, or is he just going with the flow? And was he asleep?
I think he is waking up to how bad that belief system has got, and just how kind of it's like a snake eating its own tail. And he has been the biggest flag waver of like, no, this is like, I'm a Democrat, like I'm a liberal, all this, and he's just like, whoa, like this is not okay when you're changing history, when you're suppressing free speech, when you're when anti-Semitism is like bigger than ever. It's like all this stuff, and he's like, that's not the liberal left anymore. That's something else. And he doesn't want to be in that something else anymore.
Because it's pretty fascinating to watch him come around. But I'm like, he's such a smart guy.
Yeah.
He had to have known.
One thing too that I do want to kind of clarify though is that like when I say I'm like red pilled and this and that, like I'm not like a diehard Republican, because I don't back the military industrial complex, which has been the backbone of the Republican Party for years. I don't back the fact that these Republican congressmen and women are multi millionaires because of insider trading from within Congress. Like all this shit, I'm like, fuck you. Just as I would say fuck you to the Democratic politicians who do that thing. Like, if you are not in true service of this nation with like nominal personal gain, I don't have time for you. And I look at Trump as someone who is a perceived billionaire. Don't know if he really is. Who cares? Whatever. It's irrelevant. He's got more money than I do. He had every reason under the sun to not get involved in politics. Why would he? He's got his fucking plane. He's got his buildings all over the world. That guy's in his nearly 80s. He should be sitting on his fucking rocking chair watching his grandkids playing golf as much as he wants. But instead, he is working 20-hour days. And that to me is like, that you can't, whether you like what he says, whether you don't like what he says, that guy, I don't understand what the selfish gain could be from that. I do think there's a level of selflessness with him wanting to be president. But I also think there's ego. I think that he probably really enjoys the level of power, but I think he is, everyone thinks World War III is going to start because of him, but I don't think any more so than any other president.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, he doesn't have to do it.
No.
Same with RFK.
Yeah.
He could have just been a lawyer, trial lawyer getting his 30%, making a ton of money, taking these huge multi-billion-dollar judgments.
Yeah. Just
But instead, he's alienated by his whole family.
Did you see that thing his cousin
I
came-
just saw something, but I didn't watch
gross.
it.
I was
But it
like,
was like yeah. So they're actively trying to take him down. So I'm of the
blue
belief,
no matter who.
yeah, like I'm a belief of like if you are actively trying to get rid of somebody, there's why. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
So it's like that's what I feel like. This party is made up of all. We're all imperfect. We all have problems. Okay, I'm not perfect. We all have issues. Okay, but this is like a band of outcasts that were all part of the system, and they rose within the system because they believed in the system and they did a good job. And then for one reason or another, they were cast out. I believe that. I was told by two people, one very big in the political game and one very big in the comedy game, both with a lot of power. And both are around the circle here. They 100% that Trump was part of the normal, rich people life, and he was cast out.
Yep.
He was cast out. They said he's 100% is in this to win this. He loves our country. You can also see he's changed. Like, he's become more God belief, and I feel like
A near-death experience too would probably do that.
100%.
Yeah.
And like you see it now with more athletes saying God more than ever that you've never seen before. Patrick Mahomes keeps saying God now. You never saw that before. So I do believe there are lights in all this stuff, and I believe that he's doing that, and that he's people. Tulsi Gabbard, amazing, people have all this problem with Elon. How could you have a problem with a guy that is giving you 17 different inventions that are world changing? Like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, he's an idiot. And I love how when people, he's a fucking idiot. You're like, what?
Yeah, like that's insane.
Are you
Tucker
that ignorant?
Carlson? He's like literally looks, the investigative, the most investigative. So it's like all these different people that are around Trump, to me, seem like superheroes.
Yeah.
And I think he's making an amazing cabinet. So I'm on board. And if I can get there with my little TikTok news thing, I might jump in.
Let's do it. Live.
Jack and
Live.
Jamie here.
Live from the White House lawn. Jack and Jamie reporting that, nope, that's correct. World War III has been averted.
Yeah. And like anybody who, I don't know, it's just a long conversation, but like I said, like Trump, just for people like, so they understand this, like, and I don't know enough. When he said there's only two genders, the fact that he had to declare that is insane.
Yeah. Have I told you my theory on the whole gender thing?
No, but I want to say that people that have biologically one way and feel they're another, you're still going to be able to exist and live your life and thrive.
You know what the ultimate solution to this?
It's just you're not going to have that box.
But here's the solution. It's the simplest one that no one fucking talks about. On your ID, you have birth gender and identifying gender. You have two fucking categories. I was born a girl. I identify as a fucking boy.
Sure, but why do you even need to have that second part?
Because
to make people feel good?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Why the
I
fuck
get
not?
that.
You're not denying.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You're not saying no. I'm a this. I'm a that. To me, it's the simplest, easiest solution to where both sides win.
I think that's a great thing. Yeah. I mean, if you really, why not? You're correct.
Who
Why
gives a
not
shit?
do that?
I can put my eyes are green or blue. I could put my hair is blonde or brown.
My birth gender is this. I identify as this. Yeah. And if it's someone who's born a man, it looks like a beautiful woman, Yeah.
Born a man, identifies as a woman.
You'd be shocked. You'd be like, okay, that's, no harm, no foul. Like, I mean, to me, that's all private anyway. Mm-hmm. Like, people's choices are their choices. It's not my decision or my business to get involved with that. But I think that is great.
Yeah. It's a solution to keep both sides happy.
I think that's great. You're right. But I mean, I don't know, like, if people that are born one way that go another way, it's your journey, but I I would never stop you.
No, I don't give a shit. You want to fucking be whatever. Cool.
But the problem is there's been some bad press on certain things.
Yeah,
you know,
there has.
people, a guy going into an all-female. People have co-opted the movement.
Yeah.
And gone in there for perversions.
Yeah,
not
and then,
everyone.
like there's like the sporting world issues.
Yeah.
But you're denying. You can't. It's the same group of people that are saying, "Oh, you're science deniers because you're denying climate change." Is the same group of people being like, "No, men can compete in women sports." You're like, "Well, no, now you're denying science. Like men and women are different."
Yeah. Do you know what all this stuff comes down to, bro? Is that what's our baseline of belief?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What is a baseline? And the baseline is if you believe that there are two different chromosomes and this is what they are. And that's how, and we also look at what our history is and what we were raised. Doesn't mean we can't adjust and grow. But if our baseline is this, that men were typically stronger than 90% of the female population, that doesn't mean there's not a female boxer that can't beat the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
But generally speaking, 75-25, it's going to be dudes or whatever the fucking thing is. Or people just have to admit what that baseline reality is. And then, of course, make room for adjustments.
And for me, the adjustment would be cool. The identifying.
Yes. I think that's great. By the way, at first I was like, well, that's a whole. No, you're right. It's a simple system.
Yeah.
On
It's
license.
compromise on both sides.
Here it is. I was born this. I identify as this. And keep it simple. I identify as a woman. But when you start putting, like, I identify as a unicorn, are you going to allow that on the license? See, that's where the.
But what if that person walks around looking like a unicorn?
I mean, if you put the horn on your head and you want to go
and
like
you're
a
committed,
yeah,
if you're committed.
I mean, sure, but you're right. I mean, but now we're literally in cosplay land, which is fine.
But aren't we all cosplay at the end of the day?
100%.
Like
you're right.
Yeah.
You are correct, and acting is cosplaying, and all of this is cosplaying. But I will say is, don't get mad if people get it wrong. That's my whole thing.
Exactly.
Don't get fucking mad. Like people, you know how many people fucking see me at Trader Joe's and tell me that I look like myself? Like, you look like Jamie Kennedy. Oh, I've heard that. Yeah.
I get that a lot. You look like Jack Osborne.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I get that. Like, yeah.
100%, right? Or they insult you about you to you, not knowing you're you.
Yeah.
Okay, do I cause a fucking stink? No. Because guess what? I don't totally look like myself. You know how many people say I look homeless? Yeah. I can shave and I will. But you know what I mean? Like, it's like it's not gonna ruin my fucking day.
Exactly.
I cannot be mad
But you're
at
not
people
up your
saying
own
I look
ass.
homeless.
You're not up your own ass like a lot of people are.
Yeah, I'm not up my own fucking ass because I understand I have a look right now that resonates
And
with people on the street.
Yeah.
And being honest.
We could sit here for another 2 hours.
I know.
Jamie, where can people find you?
Just go to my website, man, jamiekennedy.com, and find all the links. But go to my YouTube, watch my show.
Are you under Jamie Kennedy?
Hate to break it to you, and my Patreon for the more dicier stuff.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you.
All right.
The Jamie Kennedy.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and head over to my Patreon if you want a little extra stuff. You know, we're still working the kinks out with that. But yeah, thank you all so much. And Jamie, as always,
Thank you, buddy.
fucking good talk.